Today on the podcast, we're talking about the things that you should know before you start promoting your music. There are great ways to find new fans and that they hear your music. We're talking about that today on the podcast. We'll see you on the inside. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? This is Mike from the Songwriters Planner. You are visiting the Songwriters Podcast. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. It's really great to see more subscribers, more people downloading the podcast. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy week. I know we're all busy. So the fact that you do that, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I want to say that my podcast is also on iTunes and Spotify. If that's where you are listening to this podcast, this episode, thank you for tuning in. It's also on my YouTube channel, which you can see me here if you can see me. I don't know if that makes sense, but so you can feel free to subscribe there. And it's also on my website, www.songwritersplanner.com, where you will get both the audio and or video, whatever you decide, whatever your choice is. Again, like I was saying, I am the creator of the Songwriters Planner, which is a 6-month written planner. Love written planners that allows or helps musicians stay inspired, creative, and most importantly, productive. We are in charge of a lot these days as artists. So it's just a little something to help you get things done, help you get organized, and feel good about what you're doing. So check it out if you get a chance. So, okay, we're gonna jump into today's topic, which talk about being productive and organized. Today, we're gonna be talking about marketing tips and the things that you should know before you start promoting and marketing your music. Say you just wrote a new album, okay? And you want to market and start promoting yourself. Now, where do you start? Do you start just throwing money at ads? Do you start creating videos? What's your game plan? What is the game plan to promote your music? Whether you're doing a new album or like I was saying, new music. You could be putting out a new single, actually, it doesn't really matter. What we're taking a look at today is some things that you want to know before you start doing this, because there are ways, especially with online now, there are ways that you can spin your wheels and put a lot of work into something and you don't see the results that you're hoping for. There was a article that came out which kind of sparked this whole thing. There's an article that came out on the DIYmusician.com, which is a great resource. I always list it in my emails about these newsletters. And it was an article about what's your marketing plan as a musician. What is your marketing plan to get your music heard? And that's kind of what inspired this podcast, this episode, because I think with marketing promotion, it's not as artists, it's not really our default mode to dive into marketing and promoting ourselves. I always say that artists like to do that, create art. That's what we're born to do. Promoting and marketing doesn't really always come second nature to us. So this is a skill that we have to learn, just like you learn to play your guitar, like you learn to sing, like you learn the piano. You got to learn the best ways to market and promote that amazing talent you have, because it's just as important as learning your instrument or creating your music itself. If you want to have people hear it and you want to gain new fans, promotion and marketing is the conduit towards the fans you don't have yet in your music. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to go over the few things, that the basics that you should know before you start promoting your music. If you're a new band or something like that, these are the things you want to look at and really think about, because they can separate you from other bands that don't do marketing and promotion well. It can help you find fans faster, and it can help you tap into people that are really going to be interested in your music. And in this day and age, that's so important, because that is the lone way that we gain new fans, aside from playing shows and playing out, you know, the way that traditionally we always do, gaining new fans of people who come to your shows. Aside from that, all of our awareness is online now. And if you got good music and you've got a great vibe and stuff, you know, that stuff will spread like wildfire, but you have to give it a push. You have to do work yourself to get it out there. So let's jump into it right now. We're going to talk about, I like to call it a marketing toolkit, or things that you should know, you should have in your back pocket before you start creating your flyers or online videos, or even more importantly, running ads and spending money on your music, because that's where it's really can hurt if you're spending money and you're wasting it because you're not getting the results that you were looking for. So this is really important if you're looking to spend money on ads, say online ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, whatever it is, spending money on a video. That's where this really matters. Okay, so let's jump into it. Like I said earlier, I was going to jump into it and I didn't. So now I will. Okay, the first thing you want to do before you start promoting, define your goals. Define what it is you want to achieve. Do you want to get new followers? Do you want to get a certain number of followers on your Facebook page, on your Instagram account, on your Twitter account? What is the goal you want to hit? And in what amount of time do you want to do it? You have to measure out, have to have something tangible and measurable. Because if you don't have this, then what you're doing is you're, again, like I said, spending money, spending time, and you don't have anything to measure against. You don't know how your progress. You don't know what the progress is. You don't know what to tweak. Should I put more money here? Should I do more work here? If you're not reaching those goals, it's super important to set a goal ahead of time, something that is achievable. This is also important. Something that you know is achievable. Okay, playing Madison Square Garden in 6 months is probably not as achievable as packing one of your local clubs in 6 months. Not saying you can't do it, and if you can do Madison Square Garden in 6 months, God bless you. But how about concentrating on packing that local venue in 6 months and putting in work on that? See, that is something that now you have a goal. Now you know what you can do to start promoting and marketing yourself to reach that goal. What do you need to do? Do you need to create videos? Do you need to start your email list? Do you need to post a flyer? Do you need to start getting your social media game going? Do you need to be more active on social media? Do you need to send out more newsletters? Aside from actually practicing and playing, what's going to get you to that goal? So having a goal, having an achievable goal, or let's put it this way, having a goal and having the tasks lined up, identified to where you can reach that goal is even more important. This falls into the bucket of being productive and taking care of these things so that you can hit that goal. Super important. I mean, obviously, if you've been watching and listening to this podcast for the past year, you know that I'm really, really psyched about setting goals. So that is the number one thing that you want to have defined before you start promoting your music. Okay, you don't want to just go into this vast wasteland of throwing money into a pit and you don't know what's happening. You want to have something that you can measure. I also did a podcast last week on analytics. Analytics helping you define what kind of movement you're getting online in your social media accounts. So if you get a chance, check that out. Okay, the second thing you want to have before you start promoting yourself is a dedicated budget. A budget that basically says you have this amount of dollars to spend. What are you going to do with it? Having a budget now allows you to measure the amount of money that you're spending and where it's going. Where is this money going? Where are you spending it? Are you spending it on Facebook ads? Are you spending it on YouTube ads? Are you spending it on getting videos created? How about getting ads created using video? Whatever it is, have a budget so that you know how much money is going out as opposed to how much you can put into it. And it also is a mental thing. When you have a budget for your marketing and promotion, makes you feel a little more established, makes you feel a little more like an actual business person, which is what you want to have tendencies of someone who's running a business, because that's really what your music is. So have a budget defined. If you look at any company, any small, large company, they all have budgets, and they all have budgets for just about everything. You should be no different. Define a certain amount of money that you can spend in, a month, and that doesn't, believe me, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. We're not talking about thousands and thousands of dollars here, unless you have that kind of money to spend. Put away $20 every week, okay? That gives you almost $100 a month, almost $80 to $100 a month, okay? You don't have to have a big budget, but it's important that you do set a budget that will help you stay on track to when it comes time to spend money to get those tasks done, to get to that goal. You know how much money you have, how much you can do. Especially if in your band situation, have everybody chip in. And it doesn't have to be that much. How about $10 per band member? You got 4 guys in your band, that's $40. You can do a lot with $40 on Facebook ads. So definitely have a budget. That's something to consider, and it will help change your game up. You won't feel like you're just spending money and it's going nowhere. Okay. The third thing you want to have knowledge of, the thing you want to have in your pocket before you start promoting, is know who your target audience is. Who are you going to be promoting to? Are you promoting to, Generation Xers? Are you promoting to millennials? Are you promoting to baby boomers? It doesn't matter. And it's not just generation. Interest. Find out who your target audience is. Who is your ultimate fan? They keep talking about, not they, but there's this thing where you talk about your fan avatar. If you had to describe and create someone who's your super fan, what does that person look like? What age range are they? What other kinds of music do they listen to? What else are they into? Are they into gaming? Are they, into certain movies? Are they into certain music? Define what this person looks like, and then anchor off of that to when you start running, say, ads or anything, you have a profile of someone that likes your music, and you will have the most chances of turning them on to you. With Facebook ads, you can get very, very detailed on what someone might be interested in when they are interested in to be interested in your music. Defining your target audience is very important. Do they like dance music? Do they like EDM music? Do they like reggae music? Do they like country music? If so, what country artists do you sound like? Or, I hate saying that, what do you sound like? But it really is true. If you can if you can do all the work up front and nail down the ideal avatar fan, then you'll have much better chances of reaching the right people and spending money accurately. So where you're not wasting money, you're not promoting, say you're in a metal band and you're not promoting to jazz fans. You want to get as detailed as possible and know who your fans are. Now, some people say, well, I know who my fans are. They're the people that come to my shows. Okay, well, that's great. Let's see if you took your act and you planted yourself in another city where no one knows you, and I said, here's $100. You have a show in 2 weeks. Start promoting it online. What would you do? You don't know anybody. Nobody knows who you are. What demographics would you break down so that you could get people to your show? Think about it. Well, I sound like this. I have this kind of a vibe. My fans like these movies. My fans. You got to know who your fans are. So if you are in a town that you don't know of and you need to promote, you have an idea of your ideal fan. Okay, don't just count on the people that come to your shows in your town. Make it bigger, get bigger than that. Promote to a larger audience around. And doing that, knowing your fan base, is going to help you with that. Okay, so there's the next tip. Let's talk about you want to have healthy and alive social media accounts. Now that means, what does that mean? Let's talk about that. That means that you are on your social media constantly. It's healthy, you're interacting, you're engaging with fans. It's organic, it's lively, there's stuff going on. You don't leave your social media accounts sitting for a month or two and not post anything. The more that you can get on your social media and engage with people, the better off you are, because you're gonna find out, you're gonna get a better landscape of who is actually coming to your social media pages. Is it just the people that know who you are? Is it just your parents and your friends, or is it actual fans who? Okay, well, your parents and your friends are actual fans, but is it people that find out about you through your music who you don't know who they are? You want to have healthy, active social media sites so that you're in the practice of getting in and out of social media on a daily basis, and people see that you're actually using social media, because everything is about social media presence and where are you, what are you doing, that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not saying you have to post every hour, or you have to post 10 times a day. Make it a point to at least post one thing every day. Post one, and it doesn't have to be even about your band. Just post a great quote that you like, something that really inspires you, or something that really has to do with your music, or an artist that you like that you wanted to highlight. These are things that you can do on social media, where it's not always come to my show, I'm playing the show, hey, go buy my merchandise, because that stuff gets old real quick these days with fans. Even the people that really like you, if that's all you post on social media, they're going to tune you out. So make it interesting for them. Make it interesting so that you add some kind of value to their life, to their daily life. We all can feel monotonous in our daily life. Give them something to either laugh at or feel good about. And then after every 5th post, hey, I got a show coming up. I really hope you could see you guys there. And, give that kind of information after you've given them something. Okay. That is a really good thing to try, a really good thing to implement on your social media. But having this, it gives you a healthy social media site, gives you healthy social media activity, and fans love that. They see that and they will respond to that. So that's another thing that you want to have ready to go before you start promoting your music, is you want to be already on social media promoting yourself. Okay. Let's go through a couple smaller things. What's good to have is some skills in editing graphics, doing some design. If you know how to use Photoshop so you can make your own flyers, that's great. You'll save some money there. If you don't, go ahead and try things out. You can learn how to do anything on YouTube. If you want to learn how to do a gradient on Photoshop, find out. Go look it up on YouTube. But basically, having some design skills really helps. It's not mandatory because obviously not all of us are going to go out there and create amazing posters and flyers. And if you can find a way to get those things done within your budget, because remember, we're going to have a budget now, then great. I would say do that if you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself. But having some kind of way to create graphics and flyers and media is a really good thing to have in your back pocket before you start promoting yourself, because now you can move faster, you can get things done, you can create that flyer in a week, you can create that ad video, for next week. You just get things going faster. You're not waiting around for other people. And if you have to have other people do things for you, make sure they're reliable and make sure that they're on your team. Okay. That's really important. And a good healthy email list is also good to have. If you don't have one of those yet, go ahead and start one. There are free services for email list. This is a great way to capture when you have people come to your website, get that email. So now you can contact them when you're ready to say something big. Again, it's not something where you have to get up and running right now, but an email list is definitely essential. The more money you're spending on advertising, and the more that you're trying to get people to come and see who you are. If you can get their email address, at that point you have a direct contact link to them, and you're not depending on social media and third-party sites to communicate with these people. Okay. So those are a few things that you want to know before you promote yourself. And the last one, before we end it here, is to have patience and be consistent about all of these things. Be consistent about your social media. Be consistent about setting your goals. Be consistent about having a budget and using it. The consistency is what separates you from everybody else. It's what's going to separate you from someone who gave up. That's what consistency is all about. Along with that is patience. Be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to fill that local club in 6 months overnight. But if you're patient and you're consistent, stick to it, then you have the best chances of reaching those goals that you're setting for yourself. Okay, so remember those things. This is just a toolkit, a quick episode. I'll probably do another one of these, part 2 type of thing, because there are a million things we can cover on getting the best out of your promotion, things you should know before you start promoting and spending that money. It's so important. You don't want to waste money. So that is the podcast for tonight. Again, I'm in my doing things in my house here, so I'm not in my normal spot, but I feel comfortable. I hope you do too. Anyway, thanks for listening out there. Thanks for watching out there, and I'll see you on the next podcast. Peace.